In a recent Gallup poll, people were asked to rate their job satisfaction, and 85% of them stated that they really hated their jobs. Wow. This podcast episode will help you evaluate whether you should start thinking about ditching your 9 to 5 to start a small business or remain an employee. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Rochelle Grow, and I'm the host of Allergic to Small Talk. I'm an expat living in the UK. I own 2 businesses, have my executive MBA from Pepperdine University, and I come riding dirty, having fallen from the polished corporate world. Allergic to Small Talk is a show about how to grow your small business through networking, plus the tools and resources needed to develop your foundation as a business owner. If you're allergic to small talk, get ready for big conversations that are delivered to you in bite-sized chunks that you can implement right away to transform the way you view, operate, and grow your business. This is Allergic to Small Talk by Cut Class. Hey there, and welcome back to Allergic to Small Talk. You can catch me here every week teaching you the latest tips and tools to start and grow your small business. Last week, I was at a networking event at my gym, and the girl that organized the event is named Harriet. She's taking a gap year from uni this year, and the conversation around Harriet touched on the fact that those of us that went to college were given career advisors. One person in particular that was very interesting to me, his name is Alex, recalled his career advisor telling him that he was well suited to be, guess what, a funeral director. Yet, he's a life coach and a digital marketer for Greggs, one of the biggest UK bakeries specializing in bakes, sausage rolls, and so much, much more. And Harriet said that her career advisor said she could be a farmer, yet she's working at a CrossFit gym, going for a degree in sports psychology and applying for the fire service in the fall. That suggests we could be in a career that we could never see ourselves in. This podcast episode might just be the first conversation where you get to explore that entrepreneurial itch that you maybe just can't seem to kick. Now, this conversation really had me thinking, what would happen if not only there were career advisors in our school systems, but what about entrepreneurial advisors? You see, in our school system, we aren't surrounded by entrepreneurial conversations. We're surrounded by career conversations. So the way we're going to break down this conversation is into 4 categories. My business partner, Leslie, is a rock star, and she created 4 categories that determine whether you are an employee lifer or a small business owner or entrepreneur in the making. As I go through each category and you don't really know which one fits with you, don't worry about it. There's actually a quiz you can take to figure out which category you fall into best. And the quiz is called 9 to 5 or Be Your Own Boss quiz. You can find the link in the podcast description. All right, so let's talk about the 4 categories now. The first one is called a vital team member. The second is called the double agent. The third is an experienced master. And the fourth is a real go-getter. There are 7 variables that we look at to determine the category that a person might fall into. The 7 areas that we're going to evaluate through this podcast are, number 1, the stage of life that you might be in, meaning where you exactly are in your stage of life. Number 2 is the mode of life. This is kind of how you look and feel about where you are in life plus your career. Number 3 is risk. For example, what type of risk taker are you and how comfortable you are with risk in general? Number 4, your general interest in starting a business or the reality of starting a business for where you are in life. Number 5, this is pertaining to your role. So this literally is about the role you play in your career or on a team. Number 6 is money. This refers to your access to funds right now. And number 7, savings. This refers to how much savings you have right now. So let's start with a vital team member. You might be a vital team member if in your stage of life or career, you're kind of building or rebuilding your career, reputation, and track record in a given field, or perhaps switching careers. For example, you might be a realtor, but you really found an itch for social media and you joined a social media company as an apprentice or you took on an internship. So you're kind of rebuilding your career or you're switching careers into something that's totally different. So you might have to stay in that role or in that career to learn some new skill sets in order for you to understand whether that social media route is the best one for you. So for the mode for a vital team member might be creating and exploring what it is you really want to devote yourself to, or you're climbing your way to the next step. That's kind of where your mode is. That's kind of where you are in your stage of life in terms of how you feel about it. In terms of risk, vital team members are most comfortable when everything is steady, consistent, and low risk. When it comes to interests, professional development and learning more about business might be where your ear kind of leans towards. Now, your role in regards to where you are in your career or perhaps on a team. If you're a vital team member, you're usually a solid member on a team who knows how to get a job done when given explicit directions. When it comes to money, you aren't yet commanding the income you will later on down the road. Your savings. You or your family or partner don't have savings or it can't be touched. Sometimes things get a little tight. So, the best move for a vital team member is to stay an employee who is building business skills and savings. And when it comes to building your own business, right now might not be the best time. And it may not be the right time for you. Even within the next 3 to 5 years, you still need to sharpen that sword to gain more skills, to gain more experience in order to launch into that new business venture, new business idea, or something that you're truly passionate about. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a vital team member at all because we've all been a vital team member at some point. Some of us are lucky enough to leave school and start our businesses and be a small business owner from the get-go. But, there's other people like myself and my business partners. We were employees. We were vital team members before we actually started our first businesses. So vital team members are almost like the core foundation to being a successful small business owner. It just means you're not quite ready right now, today. Okay, let's move on to the double agent. You might be a double agent if your stage of life is kind of like you're on a roll, you've created a solid reputation, and you have a bit of a track record in your industry or within your niche. Your mode of life, you really love doing what you do, honing in on your expertise, and looking to fulfill a side passion, right? So you're really great at your job, you're really awesome in your career, but there might be some other interests that are really pulling you. For example, early on in my career, I used to work within the waste industry, and I was getting really seasoned in my career and I loved the politics of the job. I really loved interacting with the community, but I also loved traveling and I also really loved hosting parties. I really loved hosting like dinner parties and whatnot. And this is when Airbnb also started kicking off and getting really big. And I actually was an Airbnb superhost. So what I did is I fulfilled my side passion of travel as well as hosting because the income that I got from Airbnb, I actually used that money to travel. And I also had the opportunity to host people in my home from all places of the world. So that was super cool. So that might be something where, in your mode of life, you might be loving what you do, but there's some side passion that you're kind of looking to fulfill. Mine was traveling. Yours might be something totally different. Let's move on to risk. For a double agent, when it comes to risk, life works best for you when there's a mix of stability and some risk. You're not ready to go all in and, jump into the risk pool, but you definitely need to have that stability and, you're willing to take a little bit of risk. For your interest, you might be really wondering about starting a side hustle or even a gig. And so these side hustles or gigs might just be a tiny little business now, but later it could turn into full-time when it's actually stable. Now, when it comes to your role in your industry or on your team, you are a true team leader who just needs to be pointed in the right direction so you can get the job done. When it comes to money, your career is established and the pay is good. However, you aspire to earn more or have multiple incomes. When it comes to savings, you might not have any savings, but you might have a little bit of savings. So it's kind of like in between. You and your partner or family could buckle down and save right now. So the best moves for double agents are to stay an employee and build something on the side. And when it comes to building your own business, it's not quite the right time to quit your day job, yet it's the right time to start creating something on the side. Let's move on to the experienced master. If you're an experienced master, within your stage of your career, you're most likely a seasoned professional and a true master at what you do. People also see you as a subject matter expert. Let's move on to the mode for experienced masters. Now that you've reached the goals you once had, right? Maybe it was the degree, maybe it was getting the car, maybe it was the nice house. Who knows? Maybe it was all of these things that you were looking to attain. You're probably wondering, what's next? You could keep doing the same thing, but it wouldn't be as fulfilling as it once was. When it comes to risk, experienced masters can roll with the punches and have the personality or means to weather the uncertainty. When it comes to interest, experienced masters love sharing their knowledge and mastery with others. You just need a format and a roadmap in order to do so. When it comes to an experienced master's role on a team, you are probably an expert that people look to as a resource, a leader that knows what to do, when, and how to do it. When it comes to money, you earn a great living. Real living for you is more than the money you can make. When it comes to your savings, you and your partner or family have savings that could cover the needs for a year or more. So the best move for experienced masters is to start creating freelance or even consulting opportunities. And when it comes to building your own business, we think you are perfectly poised, especially to freelance or consult in your field so you can share your expertise in new ways. All right, last but not least is the real go-getter. If you're a real go-getter, in your stage of career, you might have had some success in your life and your career. Your mode in life, you might not know exactly what you are looking for, but there is this nagging feeling that there is something more for you beyond a job. When it comes to risk, real go-getters really get excited by rapidly shifting circumstances and wearing many hats. Making sacrifices and taking risks is not an issue, as long as you can envision the pathway and possibility of everything coming together. When it comes to your interests, life works best for you when there's adventures and new challenges. Now, your role in life, or perhaps on a team, is that you are a big picture thinker that is also ready to roll up your sleeves and get to work. When it comes to money, you've earned good money where you are now or at previous jobs, and you're ready for sky's the limits. And when it comes to savings, you have some runway or circumstance to cover expenses, maybe 4 to 6 months. So the best move for go-getters is to get ready to start building your own business. And when it comes to actually building your own business, your time is now and you are totally ready for it. So there you have it. I just broke down the 4 different categories between a vital team member, a double agent, an experienced master, and a real go-getter. Which one do you think you best resonate with? As you can see, there are many paths to entrepreneurship / becoming a small business owner. There may be some steps listed under another result that maybe work better for you, which is totally fine. Just do what resonates with you best. If you're ready to get in action, then head over to the podcast description to take the 9 to 5 or build your own business quiz. And if you're not quite sure, or if you think, well, gosh, I kind of fit in 2 of those categories, well, go ahead, take the quiz. It'll take you 2 minutes to take the quiz, and you can see what result you really get. And this is just a quiz with 11 questions. It doesn't mean it's the truth. It'll just give you a good jumping off point if maybe you do have that inkling inside of you that is telling you that there might just be more for you beyond your 9 to 5. Once you've taken the quiz, you'll also get a list of next steps based on each result. I kind of just gave you a little snippet throughout this podcast. Once again, don't forget, This is your journey, and there is no one way to begin your journey to start something for yourself in an area that you're truly passionate about. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode today, and I look forward to seeing you next week. See ya! Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Allergic to Small Talk is a production of Cut Class, a place where you can access me, Rochelle Grow, and Leslie Levito. We teach the world how to start and grow businesses without a formal classroom. Executively produced by me, Rochelle Grow, and Cut Class. Creative direction by Sho Kazanjian. Audio editor and producer Tom McGeoch. And music is by Fami Kaira. If you'd like to access more free resources, check out our sister podcast, Out to Launch, hosted by Cut Class's co-founder, Leslie Levito. She teaches people how to ditch their 9-to-5 to start their own business. See ya!